Hello and welcome to another AV14 video. My name is Jonathan and I have finally built my first FPV quad. Today I'm going to be going over my first experiences in FPV and also over the specs of the quad that I built. The brains behind the build is a HIFIONRC flight controller and ESC all-in-one board. This is powering a set of BetaFPV 1505 3600 kV motors. And on the video side of things, I am using the Caddx Turtle V2 for recording flight footage and as my FPV camera. This runs into the RDQ Mach 3 video transmitter, which sends the video link back to my ground station. For a receiver, I am using a FrSky R9 receiver, which is flashed with ExpressLRS. And to power all this, I'm using some Tattu Funfly's 1300 mAh 4S 100C batteries. Now in total, this all weighs approximately 280 grams. And now, onto some of the FPV footage.
So this is the first flight of the second pack, second FPV battery. Let's do it. I'm so excited. First recorded flight too, so let's get this. That's cool.
As I had mentioned, this was my very first flight of my second FPV battery pack, and I was really excited that I was finally in the air and flying because I had a few problems starting out. The main problem prefaced around the Gemfan Hurricane propellers. Now, I actually use these props still, and I absolutely love them, but at first, I didn't realize that you needed to install a prop adapter for motors that required screws instead of a bolt mount. Not using the adapters that came with the Gemfan props resulted in some really awful flying characteristics. In fact, I couldn't even control a quad and it was incredibly spastic. As a result of this, I ended up breaking my very first frame, which was just a Banggood special. I ended up purchasing an actual Diatone frame because parts are more readily available for replacement should I break my frame again. I got my new frame in the mail, and I decided to give the prop adapters a try, as well as installing a default tune on my quadcopter, and it flew amazingly. Another major problem that I was having actually came from the video side of things. I started out with the AKK Ultimate FX3 vTX, which has a range from 25 milliwatts to 1 watt of output. Now this didn't work super well because while the mounting was technically a 20 by 20 mounting, it did not fit really great into the Diatone frames and had the antenna sticking out. I even broke the board while I was trying to replace the antenna. So after that, I switched to the RDQ Mach 3. And once I switched to the Mach 3, I started having a lot of noise-related issues. Now I found out that if I wired the power of my Caddx Turtle directly into the vTX, a lot of that noise went away. Now in all honesty, if I were to build this quad again, I would have done one thing different, and that is the camera setup. Now as you can see here, the Caddx Turtle V2 actually produces some really fantastic footage. However, it requires some jerry-rigging due to the stacks of the camera board and the flight controller being different sizes. I think with a dedicated FPV camera and a GoPro for HD video recording, the entire build itself would have been a bit cleaner and easier to troubleshoot some of those camera noise problems that I was talking about earlier. A couple of quick notes about this footage that you are seeing here. I'm sort of just circling around my local park, still trying to get the gist of how everything feels, how the quad flies. I have had some simulator time, mostly in RDS Alpha. If you don't know what that is, it is essentially a free drone racing flight sim, and I think it works pretty good for just getting the hang of all the controls of a quad. And after a handful of flights at the park like this, I started getting comfortable enough to where I was flying my quad inside my neighborhood, ripping around trees and up and down the street as well. I do have some footage on the Caddx from ripping around my neighborhood, and I was about to show it to you guys today, but I'm worried about some confidentiality things such as like license plates and house numbers being shown on accident, so I think I'm just going to stick to this for today. I also have started chasing my friend around in his RC plane, so I'm going to probably make a video on that very shortly. I don't have any recorded footage of it yet. I did try to record some last night, but I unplugged the battery before I stopped recording, which resulted in a corrupt video file. I did also want to mention that initially I was going to create a drone building montage. However, so many things went wrong when I was trying to build this that I just stopped recording and focused more on getting the project done. I promise that I have more stuff coming up for you guys. I've got a Nitro RC plane coming that I'm going to build probably now this fall. There are some other projects in the way of my friend at RC Bros Productions, but we're going to be getting on that promptly. Anyways, guys, that is going to be all for today's video. If you enjoyed listening to me babble about my drone for the last 5 minutes, please drop a like. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please drop a comment down below. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.